As 2026 approaches, I want to share 3 New Year's resolutions. It's not that I've never practiced these before, I have, but I want to be more consistent. And I'm sharing them not only to keep myself accountable now that it's public, but because I think these are good resolutions for any skeptic or atheist to have. So this isn't just a note to myself. I hope these resonate with you so we can practice them together in the coming year. I'm pretty sure you'll agree with my first 2 resolutions. The third one might be a bit more controversial, but I still hope it makes sense. Resolution 1. I will not demonize theists. I understand that religiosity is part of human nature, so even though I think many religious beliefs are irrational and often work against human well-being, I'm not going to target individuals to the point of hatred. That is a dangerous place to be. Because once I'm there, I'm no longer reasoning, I'm trying to dominate. I know words carry power. People I criticize might feel offended, even humiliated. But my goal shouldn't be to ridicule people. My goal should be to discuss ideas honestly, weigh their pros and cons, and offer what I believe is a better way of thinking and living. At its core, this channel is about trying to create a win-win outcome. I'm not necessarily against religion as a whole. If my goal were simply to reduce the number of religious people as much as possible, then a win-win outcome might be impossible. But I don't see it that way. I think there are ways of practicing religion or spirituality that don't minimize reason and might even make life more meaningful and interesting in a healthy way. But if I fall into demonizing people I disagree with, the outcome will never be what I want. I'll become the one doing harm. This is also why I'm not advocating for legal restrictions on religion. I think freedom matters. People are at their best when they have the freedom to explore their inner voice, test ideas, and build a life they sincerely believe is good for themselves and for others. Of course, it goes without saying that freedom has limits. Groups that exploit people financially or otherwise should be stopped. But that is because they actively strip away the very conditions people need to thrive. And that is the exact opposite of what I want to see. So let me say it clearly. In 2026, I will not demonize anyone, not Christians, not Muslims, and not even other skeptics. What I'm after is honest discussion and persuasion, not ridicule, not dehumanization. And I know some of you might be thinking, but I have seen you mock people online before. You are not wrong. If you look hard enough, you will find comments from me that are condescending or petty. I'm aware of that. That's exactly why this is a resolution. If I had already mastered this, I wouldn't need to commit to it. Resolution 2. As an atheist, I will not shield my position from rational scrutiny. In 2026, I don't want atheism to become a safe space for my ego. I'm not going to protect my views on religious issues from careful, honest criticism. I want to stay open to changing my mind. If there's another position that has better reasons behind it, I'm willing to switch. If I'm mistaken about a fact, I will admit it. I don't believe any school of thought deserves absolute loyalty. What I'm committed to is learning, improving how I think, and striving for intellectual honesty and consistency. I'm not perfect. My knowledge is limited. My biases are real. And here's something I think we can all agree. At this very moment, I'm holding some beliefs that are false. I just don't know which ones. Because if I knew exactly what I was wrong about, I would have already changed my mind. So how do I get rid of bad ideas? Not by clinging harder, not by making my identity dependent on being right. I get rid of bad ideas by holding my views with humility and by admitting that I could be wrong even about the most fundamental things. I've already done that once. I used to hold a Christian worldview, and I was deeply committed to it. But I eventually realized it wasn't what I thought it was, and I let it go. That wasn't easy. It took time. Deprogramming and starting over takes real effort. But because I've been through that, I know what it means to change my mind. So nobody can honestly say he's too stubborn. He would never give up atheism even if the strongest evidence were presented. Atheism and agnosticism don't get special treatment from me any more than Christianity once did. If I could relinquish my Christian belief, I certainly hope I can change my mind about atheism too. So if you think that you have strong arguments against atheism, I'm willing to listen. Share them in the comments. One clarification though, when I say atheism, I'm not talking about hard atheism. I'm not claiming there cannot be a God or that the material world is all there is. What I mean is this: I don't have good reasons to believe that God exists, and I live my life as if God doesn't exist. So don't ask me to prove that God doesn't exist. I can't do that, and I'm not trying to. But if you believe you have solid reasons to think God exists or that Jesus is divine, then lay out your case. Let's have a discussion. And if my first two resolutions resonate with you, please like and subscribe so more people can find this channel. It takes almost no time, but it helps a lot. It motivates me to keep making better content. Resolution 3. I will not ask people to become atheists or relinquish their religious beliefs. Now, this one might sound a bit strange, so hear me out. In 2026, I want to refrain from pressuring anyone to walk away from their religion or to become an atheist like me. I'm not saying this to sound pretentious. I'm saying it because I've come to realize that pulling yourself out of a religious worldview is not for everyone. And for some people, staying religious may actually be better for them than becoming non-religious, especially if they are not ready for it. I am fully aware that religious belief often comes with real emotional and social benefits in both Western and Eastern cultures. For many people, religion provides community, identity, structure, and a sense of comfort in hard seasons. In the end, everyone has to make the decision they sincerely think is best for their own life. That said, I do want to encourage people, especially Christians, to be more mindful about what they believe. Christianity isn't one single thing. There are many traditions, many faith styles, many theological cultures, and they are not all the same. Some are healthier than others, and chances are the version many people inherited is not the best version for them. So I think it's always worth inspecting your beliefs. Ask yourself what you actually believe and why. Ask yourself whether there are parts of your faith you have never really had the space to understand, question, or rethink. Give yourself permission to explore, and then decide whether the answers you find genuinely make sense. I don't think many religious people would object to the basic idea of owning what you believe. And by owning it, I mean this: we don't just accept whatever we are told by the religious authorities in our lives. We take responsibility for processing and investigating the teachings we are told. Because in a deep sense, it's not really your belief until you can sincerely say, yes, I agree with this. And if you disagree and you think the right approach is simply to trust religious leaders without question, then you do you. That's your choice. I'm just saying that's not the path I want to promote. So those are the 3 resolutions I'll be focusing on in 2026. Of course, I have other goals in my daily life: work goals, family goals, personal goals, but they are not directly relevant to this channel, so I'll leave them out here. What do you think? I know this 3rd resolution might not land for every atheist or skeptic, but I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments. And beyond these 3, are there other principles you think I should follow as a skeptic? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.